welcome to the channel. I'm Nate. So I'm going to be talking about Spotify Wrapped. So Spotify Wrapped has been and gone now, and has proved once again why social media is horrible, and I think we should delete it forever. Spotify Wrapped has brought out what's clearly the best and mostly the worst of all of us, and I'm excited to deep dive and share that with you all. So let's get into it. I've seen a lot of people, I feel this year more than any other year, I feel like it's exponentially becoming more and more, but I've seen a lot of people talking about Spotify Wrapped online. But one of the things I've seen is people saying things like, why are people, so surprised when their Spotify Wrapped comes out? Because it's just numbers. I think it's one of the things I wanted to talk about today, because I really don't think that Spotify Wrapped is just numbers. I think there's definitely a narrative that comes along every time Wrapped rolls around each year, which is pushed by both us and Spotify. Because Wrapped, in 2023, it's not just about music stats anymore. It's a summary of your entire year. That's why, the presentation of the Wrapped every year is becoming more and more hyped, more and more dramatic, and more built up to. This year they had a trailer saying that it was going to happen, which is something that everybody and their mum already knew. Then a trailer saying that they were going to be announcing the date of Wrapped. Then a trailer announcing the date. Then a trailer on the day of the Wrapped saying that it was happening. And then the whole Taylor Swift sort of announcement that she was the number one artist, all just for Spotify Wrapped to hype it up. I think the build up only serves to ram home the idea that Spotify Wrapped as a whole is not just about how much music you listen to, who you listen to, and what songs. Spotify is trying to make it a summary of your entire year. I think this year especially, after seeing all the discourse online, I feel more and more that Wrapped season, as a lot of people are calling it, is actually just a reflection on the various issues that are already very, very present within social media. It encourages people to display, their most likable features. It promotes competitiveness, and it just keeps pushing people into this endless cycle of consuming. So that's all social media. I think that's pretty obvious. That shouldn't be news to anyone watching this video who's watching it on YouTube. You know what it's like. But I think Wrapped in particular not only highlights these features, but also makes them worse for about a week. It's a horrible time to be online. More and more, it seems like online, you can't be half interested in something. More and more, it seems like online, you can't really be half a fan of something. If you're into Taylor Swift, then you're a Swiftie. If you like Justin Bieber, then of course you're a believer. If you like Radiohead, then you probably need therapy. So when Susie over here posts her top 5 artists on Instagram, she's not just saying that she likes Kendrick Lamar or Weezer. She's publicly aligning herself with the communities of those artists and the fans within those communities. You can't just say, oh, I like Kendrick Lamar. Now you're a Kendrick Lamar fan. You're within this group and this subculture. And I think, that's why there is such a apprehension to posting your Spotify Wrapped. There is such a discussion because there's this, what's another word for tense? There's this tension, There's this tension that comes within the online community, because everyone is worried that when they post their Wrapped, because of course you have to, what does that say about themselves? Because it's not anymore just that you liked a certain song or you liked a certain artist. It's now a statement, a public statement, that shows you and your values. And I think that's partly why so many people are talking about it more and more, because online forums, online discussions have become more polarized. And so you can't just be half in, half out. You're either a fan or you're not. There's a much more powerful subtext here beyond the reality that, Susie really just listened to Humble 55 times in 1 year because she hyperfixated on it, for a week in April. It's not really, there's in real world reality and there's an online reality, and those things do not mix. Very rarely is someone's Wrapped nowadays an actual depiction of what music they listen to. And it's not generally because the facts are wrong. It's because now there's a hidden messaging within what you post that is reinterpreted as something other than the initial meaning. What I think is very interesting is the amount of other platforms that I've seen that have started to do Wrapped type things too. So I don't know if they've done this before, but Reddit is now doing them. PlayStation does it. Apple Music does it. Heaps of companies, especially tech companies, social media companies, everything like that, they're doing it now. But none of them are as successful as Spotify Wrapped. And I think the reason for that is because there's no motivation to post on social media about these other Wrapped things, PlayStation, Reddit, all that stuff. Like I was saying before, there isn't that extra layer of meaning that comes from posting your results. So when you post a Spotify Wrapped, it means a whole lot more to say that you were, 0.01 fan of Taylor Swift than it does to say that you spent, 100 hours this year playing Fortnite on your PlayStation. So there's good parts and bad parts to the pressure and the polarization of Spotify, because it does make it more important. It makes you feel more important, and it makes the content that you're making feel more important as well, if that makes sense. I think also because there is that extra layer and depth to Spotify, that when you post, say, whatever the Reddit Wrapped thing is online, I don't know what it is, but I've seen it around. When you post that online, it's purely based on you. It's purely personalized to what you looked at. So the content that you're making is purely derived from you, which people are less interested in than content they already know they like. So that's why you have 20 billion people posting that Taylor Swift was in their top, 5 artists this year, because that's something that people are interested in. What I'm trying to say is that most people don't care about your actual information. They only care because it's something that they like or that agrees with their values, and that's where they find value in what you're posting. I've been talking a lot about posting your Wrapped online, and I think a lot of people's, argument, or something I've seen online, a lot of people saying is, the Wrapped initially is only for you. You're the only one that can access it on your phone. So why not just keep it to yourself? Don't post it on social media. I noticed this year when I looked at mine that the whole time I was using the Wrapped, I was looking at it, they're trying to funnel you into posting it online. And every time you take a screenshot, it takes you to their share pop-up page to post it to social media. And at the end, there's that gallery of all the different aesthetic kind of colorways that you can post your summary. Everything is designed to push you to social media. And when other people are, there's that FOMO too. You feel like you're missing out. And so there's a pressure to post it. So no, I don't think that it's really fair to say that all these problems with Spotify Wrapped aren't valid because you don't have to post it. I think both we as the consumers and Spotify is doing everything they can to push you to post online. Why? I'll talk about that later. But the reality is that you can't do Spotify Wrapped without posting it online, at least is the rhetoric that's being ingrained within the Wrapped season every year. I'm going to talk a little bit about the crazy people that have just taken this whole thing way too far. So, number one, and this is actually the video that made me want to talk about this in the first place, is this video. I'll show it to you now. Okay, so 1 million listening minutes, 790 days. I mean, it's not surprising, but it's kind of wild, I think. Okay, at what point did we as a society get to that someone went to all that effort to get such high listening minutes just to post on TikTok for a couple thousand likes? In the comments, the creator said, Spotify tracks both online and offline listening. I had 2+ devices playing at all times, and it overlaps the total minutes. So this person had 2 different devices playing music all year round just to get an arbitrary little number that came up on their screen so they could post it online. Why has Spotify Wrapped now become so warped into this mediatized, super marketable sort of click farm? Yeah, so a lot of people are going crazy, clearly, over Spotify Wrapped, but we gotta remember, at the end of the day, we're all just mindless consumers, right? And Wrapped season is the only time we're actually rewarded for how much we consume, even if it is with arbitrary social media points that mean nothing except that you wasted your time, listening to Radiohead and being sad instead of, going outside. Radiohead fans copping a lot of strays, I'm sorry. Unintentional. The aim, really, I think, of Spotify Wrapped is to translate the feeling that you get when you actually listen to a song and the meaning behind why you were listening to the song, the meaning that it has for you, and instead associate those happy, sad, really intense emotional moments with Spotify, the platform. That's what the Wrapped narrative is. Also wanted to briefly talk about, this is my official statement on this, please, social media interns of various companies, stop doing that annoying thing where you'll get whatever company you work for, get their stats for the year and post it with the same graphic design as a Spotify Wrapped, and then put the company of your name and then write Wrapped 2023. You know what I'm talking about? Those carousel Instagram posts they do where it's like, we sold 1 million pieces of paper this year, kind of thing. Please stop it. I've seen it every year. Wrapped season is already too much for me in terms of people posting the same thing over and over again. Companies doing it as well just does my head in. And to be honest, it doesn't look good. The graphic design for this year's Spotify Wrapped sucked anyway, so I don't know why you'd be using it. Please stop it. It annoys me. Thank you for listening. Look, I'm not saying don't go around posting it. I'm not saying don't enjoy getting to be reminded of the year that we've had. I think it's a really good tool. I think it's really fun. I did it. I posted it. I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying I think people should be aware a bit more of what it does and what Spotify is trying to say, rather than going online and hating people or being mean or leaving hate comments or whatever about what people are listening to. Remember that that artist, that community, does not actually represent that person in particular. They're completely separate entities, even though social media will try and tell you that they're connected. Someone listening to Taylor Swift does not tell you anything about their personality. at all. Even though, I talked about posting someone kind of is making a statement about who you are as a person. I don't think that's the way that it should be. I'm just saying that's the way that it is right now. And I think that we would all, including myself, be better people if we remembered that every person that's posting is their own individual and they have their own thoughts and feelings. That's it. That's all for me today. Thanks for listening to my ramblings from my bedroom. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you soon for the next one. Bye.